Welcome to Table Talk, where there's always room at the table. I am your host, Jonathan Harmon of the J. Harmon Home Team, and we can't wait to talk to these fine guests. No. Enjoy the show. Okay.
And good morning. It's Jonathan Harmon of the J. Harmon Home Team, powered by Keller Williams. And I am here with Miss Angel Pardue. How are you?
I'm good this morning. It's freezing outside, but I'm good.
It's toasty warm in here,
It's very warm in here.
I might have to shed layers by the end of this show. I'm telling you.
I'm ready to go to sleep.
I know it. But anyway, everybody knows Angel. Everybody that is anybody, that is, in Murfreesboro. But we're gonna get to her here in just a sec. Before I forget, we want to talk about our buddy, Mr. Brian Nail with Primis Mortgage, and he's a big supporter here of Spread the Positive and the mission that Trent has with this fantastic company. So we do want to hear from Brian.
Hey, my name is Brian Nail. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Primis Mortgage. I want to tell you that I absolutely love being a member of the Spread the Positive Network. It's such a great mission and helps bring so much positivity to our community. It's truly be a pleasure to be a part of what they do. There are a lot of ways to navigate financing a home, and in markets like this, having the advice of a trusted local professional is key to making sure you get the right advice for your specific circumstances. Whether you're interested in the purchase of a new home, second home, or have a need for a refinance, I'd love to earn your trust. If I can help you nail your mortgage, call me at 615-243-3976 or visit nailyourmortgage.com.
Primis Mortgage is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC, equal housing opportunity. As always, all loans are subject to approval. Primis Mortgage, NMLS number 1894879.
Thank you for being such a supporter of all things Spread the Positive. So about Brian, there was a benefit show on Thursday this past week, and it was for the Isaiah 117 house. Mm-hmm. They raised $6,000.
Wow!
Handed a check over to the Isaiah house for $6,000. It was pretty cool, and Primis was a big sponsor of that. So, pardon. Thank you, Brian, and all the folks over there at Primis. I got to sit across the table from Belinda Arender, and I reminded her of the first time that she and I ever interacted. We didn't much care for each other in that particular interaction, and she thought that was hilarious. So we got to reminisce a little bit about that. But anyway, sometimes I'm a little abrasive. What can I say? It's possible. Not likely, but it's possible. But someone I would never be abrasive with is Miss Angel Pardue over here. And Angel, you have she's a photographer. I've been doing photography for
a long time. I just when I was a graphic designer before I was a photographer. That's what I went to college for. I was a graphic designer for about 20 years, and then we adopted our son when he was 2.5 years old. So I had been doing photography as a hobby, or just doing it for friends, and then I had kind of picked up some business. So after work, we didn't have any kids, so I would go take pictures of seniors or families or do it on weekends. And then when we adopted our son, I quit my graphic design job and went full time. So it just really started as zero. So and went from there.
Well, you have an excellent reputation here in the community, and everybody truly, they're like, oh, you should get Angel to do that. So I mean, I've seen you do everything from headshots to senior pictures to weddings to all of the above.
Right.
What is your favorite thing to shoot?
Probably my favorite thing to shoot is high school seniors.
Yeah.
Because they will just, I've always been, and as I've gotten older, I've had to watch myself, but I'm always like, hey, let's climb up on the side of this, staircase that has no railing or whatever, and they'll just do it, and I forget that I probably shouldn't be doing that, but they're the
bodily harm is
right.
Yeah.
And I've always been just really about, I'll climb on rocks, I'll do whatever, but they will just pretty much do anything. I had a senior week before last, and it wasn't too cold that day, but the Stones River's cold anyway, and she wanted pictures in that standing we just went over to Cannonsburg at the creek, at the front, and she wanted pictures in there, and I'm like, hey, you get in there, I'll get in there, let's go, so
She called your bluff.
yeah, we got in there, our dress was wet and everything, but the pictures are amazing. So that's really, when I get home, I mean, I'm just like, and start, going through everything in my office, I'm just like, yes, it was worth it. So I love seniors.
You didn't lose a toe to frostbite or
No,
anything?
I
Okay.
actually got down as low as I could. Now, I usually have, I carry boots with me or that I can get in water if I need to, but she actually surprised me on that. So I just had to squat down really low and get as close as I could without falling in.
That's funny. That's funny. So, so seniors are your favorite. What is it about photography as a business? And I've got all kinds of stories here, so we're going to share. Okay, what is it about photography that you love?
Well, I think it started. I was as I was growing up, I was always taking pictures, and I know every photographer says that. They had a camera in their hand when they were 3 years old. Well, that was kind of in the 70s. You're growing up. People just didn't take pictures like they do now. I mean, you just didn't capture every.
Well, it wasn't practical, right? I mean,
right. It was expensive. I mean, the flash bulbs, for one thing. I mean, you only got 4 out of that if you were lucky, and then the film, and then you had to. I mean, it was a lot more than kids now understand, or younger people. And so, yeah, you only took a picture if it was like really important. So,
and you got one shot at it.
Pretty
so
much.
now it's like, okay, here's this group. All right, I'm going to take 10 of them, and you pick the best one.
Right.
Well,
I mean, I take all these pictures. I get, everybody's head, so I can make sure that if I got to move this head over here because they weren't smiling or their eyes were shut or whatever. But, and then when I went to college, I went to art. I went to NOSI College of Art, which is in Goodlettsville, and I started taking photography class there. And this was at the very end. This will show how old I am, but this was before digital really took off. I was doing, working on computers and learning how to design and everything in that way. But when we were doing that, going in a dark room and developing, something about that I loved it. And then when I started getting into using, when I was doing graphic design and I was doing Photoshop, and I realized that I can make people look just slightly, it's something about in Photoshop, people don't understand that you can go in there and actually, you're almost painting like an artist. I'm adding shadows, I'm taking shadows away, I'm doing things, and a lot of people just think I'm swapping heads or doing things, and I'm fixing things, not fixing, I'm adjusting things on people that they don't even realize I did, but they see the picture and they're like, gosh, I looked really good that day, or my hair looked amazing. I didn't realize it, when their hair might have been halfway off, but I can kind of, I just kind of make people look, but I think Photoshop and just something about, I'm also somebody that really likes instant gratification. So doing a photo shoot, then going back to my computer, and it's right there. It's automatic.
well, and so what I have kind of grown to learn or grown to know is that now the real artistry and what really sets apart a professional and a shade tree photographer is the follow up. It's the after shoot, right? So
Right.
You spend an hour shooting, 2 hours shooting. You're going to spend hours upon hours upon hours, and again, to your words, not necessarily fixing, but
Right.
but fixing, adjusting, and really polishing that
Polishing,
photograph.
that's a really good word, yes.
And that's where the magic happens.
Right. And that's because, somebody can take a picture and they look, and people always say, oh, let me see the back, let me see what you just did. And I'm like, I try very hard not to show them, because I'm like, this is just what I just did. I shoot everything raw, which is, there's no, I don't shoot nothing is automatic. My focus is automatic on my camera, but other than that, I set everything manually. And I'm like, you just can't look at the back of this screen right here and see what you're going to see later. So
Right.
I try not to do that, because they always get worried. They're saying, oh, my face looks fat, or my, my hair's messed up, or I'm like, just don't, it's okay. We can adjust some things now, but I try to get it right when I'm shooting it. So then there's less to do on the back end. But
Well, you made me look good in that purple coat as Professor Plum last year, so that's all I know.
That's one of my favorite shoots I do is for the Clue party.
It's super fun.
It's fun.
You get to be creative and mess with it.
Yes.
So one thing that I think a lot of folks don't understand, and I only really understand this because of an experience I had. There is an extreme amount of pressure on photographers for event photography. So I got married 2 Octobers ago, not this past October, but the October before. Nice. And we had a photographer, and this photographer at the end of the night, said everything was cool, everything was great, had all these pictures, and then we get the finished product back a month later or whatever it was. And I mean, frankly, to say we were disappointed that's a gross understatement, to the point where we even put on social media, hey, if anybody got some good pictures from the wedding, please share them. And frankly, a lot of the cell phone pictures were better than the ones that we got from this professional. And it was hard. It's a tough pill to swallow, because we're sitting here going, man, we spent X number of dollars on this event. We had all these people together. It was a phenomenal event. Everybody had a great time. This is a once in a lifetime thing. And it was obviously a very special day. And we don't have what we consider a good photographic record of it. And that
breaks my heart, because I remember when Missy Lay came to me and said she was helping you organize it, and she asked me, could I do it? And we were going to be gone. It was like fall break or something, wasn't it?
It was October 1st.
Yeah, yep. We were gone to the beach. And I said no, and she actually came and borrowed some equipment from me, I don't remember what it was for. She came the day before we left, and your wedding was that weekend we left. I don't do weddings as much anymore. I really just do them for family and friends, or just people close to our family. But I'm such a perfectionist, and I think this is one thing that photographers now are not doing. And I have to be careful what I say, but there's so many young photographers, and they don't. I worked in the corporate world for 20 years in businesses, and dealing with customers, doing customer service, and then also working with graphic design. And you have to be on your game to do this, because after I shoot that wedding or event or headshots or anything, or a senior, they may have gone and gotten their makeup done, their hair done. We can't redo this. I mean, you can, but a wedding you cannot redo.
No.
You have to be, when you get home, or that's where I do my editing, I go straight in there. I don't stop. I don't stop for anything. And I get those pictures downloaded and backed up immediately. You can't stop and watch a show. You can't, you have to be on it. And
well, and this photographer ended up refunding money, but I'm like, that's not the point.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Who cares?
Yeah.
And what I learned from that, here's what I learned from that, is hire somebody that you have seen their work, you know what they're doing, talk to them, and just ask them, please be honest with me. Mm-hmm. It is, and for the love of all things holy, don't shop for a photographer based on price.
Oh, yes, that is. And, there's so many people that do that, especially with doing weddings so much. I don't do them. I really am selective about what I do now. I only did 2 or 3 this year.
Sure.
Because people will call me and they'll want a price, and I'm already under. Because I try to help people. I try to be to where people can afford. I want everybody to be able to have good photography, whether it's headshots or seniors or wedding. And it's because everybody deserves that for any budget. But
don't shop it on price.
No. I mean, that is one thing. You get what you pay for, 100%. And the experience that, experience is a lot, because I've done a lot of weddings, I've done a lot of events, seniors, and I usually can say, okay, this didn't, even in a wedding where we were doing it, there's been times my husband, would go and help me a lot at weddings because it's impossible to do it by yourself.
Sure.
I mean, you can unless it's really small. But, I mean, he's like helped people when it was raining hold a tent up in the rain. I mean, we're there to help. We're there to make sure your day goes smooth. We're not just there to take the pictures. And with seniors, like I tell moms and dads, I'm like, if you have any questions about this is your first senior, you can call me and ask me because I've probably heard it from another mom or, if you don't know, because they've got to get their drape picture or their tux picture. I'm like, just, feel free to call and ask me or because I probably know the answer just from hearing from other moms.
Sure. Yeah. Experience definitely matters. And, I'm sure every event, everything that you do, everything's got its own little unique thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, you haven't seen it all, but yet you've seen a lot.
Yeah.
You can't have seen it all yet because somebody
No.
inevitably is going to come up with something, and you're going to be
they
like,
always do.
"Holy
Yeah.
smokes, what?"
Yeah.
So, what? That being said, obviously, no names or anything. What's the craziest thing you photographed?
Oh my gosh.
What did you just think of? Because whatever that was, it's got to be golden.
Well, I thought of two things. One was really cool. We did a wedding, and they're both weddings because that's where the drama happens. We did a wedding in Nashville at the Cannery. It's been two years ago. I just did maternity pictures for them, which I love
Nice.
that too. I love
Yes.
getting to kind of go through
Congratulations.
life with people. Yeah, and they had a wedding at the Cannery. It was a beautiful wedding. It snowed that weekend. It was in December. It was right about this time, I think it was December. And at the end of the wedding, I believe she was of, I think her family was of Mexican, but there was something in there. But they had a mariachi band come in, and a full mariachi band played, and it was just the coolest thing. I mean, that was a great wedding. But then I had a wedding. We had a wedding. It was right before COVID hit. I mean, it was like March. I'll never forget. It was March 14th, 2020. So like things were
a
just
couple days
starting,
later, yeah.
Yes, things were just starting to where you're hearing things like, wait, what's going on? It's like you were starting to go to the store and there was no toilet paper. And you're like, why is there no toilet paper? But it was also in Nashville. But the bride, one of the bridesmaids, and the bride got in a fight before the pictures.
Oh, yikes.
And my husband was there with me, and the videographer, sweetest guy, he was so nice. And this was before I had even taken any pictures. There were flowers, bouquet flowers, just flying all over the parking lot. It was that was what automatically came to my mind. But me, my husband, and the video guy were just standing there with our mouth open, and I'm like, why are we not taking pictures of this? That was a crazy one. Yeah. That's the craziest thing I can think of right at this moment. But that was.
Did you get pictures of the fight? Because man,
No.
that would have been gold on social media.
I should have taken them just for my personal, I have like a folder on my computer that I just drag things in.
Yeah.
Like random things that I can't really show, just silly stuff, that we do. And
it's your own personal greatest
it's
hits.
like it says behind the scenes, and I just kind of push stuff in there. But that would have been a great behind the scenes photo to keep. But
10 years from now, you need to make a book
yeah, probably could.
when everything's declassified.
But now I'm pretty much like, I'll do your wedding only if it's low drama, if I know you really, if I know you, or I know your parents, or I know your family. So
Yeah. That's funny.
it's got to be pretty low key.
That's funny. So, so seniors are your favorites, and that's cool because and I think this is. I want you to talk about this. The coolest part about your job is that you get to be there and experience and document milestone moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of time I don't do. I do a lot of seniors, but I've had seniors that I did when I first started doing this, and I have done their senior pictures, their wedding pictures, maternity, newborn, and then family. And that's rare. And I don't even really do newborns that much because I always tell people I'm not one of the Pinterest ones where you're going to get I'm not even going to
Cabbage Patch dolls
yeah,
and yeah.
and I'm like, that's That's not my style. I used to try to do it, and then I realized this is not for me. There's people out there that do an amazing job at that. If you want me to do your newborn pictures, it's going to be more like lifestyle. But that is like, I love that. And I love that people keep coming back to me because they're just comfortable. And I think that's part of being a photographer too. You've got to have kind of a good rapport with your clients and just make them feel comfortable, because some people are extremely nervous having their photos made. I mean, it's especially when I do a lot of headshots, and that's another like kind of milestone. When I've done a lot of stuff for people that are just starting their business, that are just graduating college, and they want headshots, and that's really special too, because I never thought I would be a headshot photographer, but I honestly probably do more headshots than anything.
And that's got to be hard, because there is one subject matter in that picture, and that's it.
Yeah.
There is no background to hide it. There is no like.
Yeah, and it's close up usually. But that's probably right up there with seniors is something I really like to do, because it's just one-on-one, and I really get to talk to that person. And every time, it never ever fails. When I have a headshot, we share something. I've come away from that learning something that I either needed to know, that I had not been able to figure out, just about anything. You know, it just be totally random, something about school or my kid, or, you know, but there's always something good that comes out of it.
Well, you just hit on something that's one of my kind of life philosophies, and that is that everyone has a story, has something to teach you, has something to share. Everyone. And it doesn't matter who it is. And I think that's cool that you get to kind of be privy to that.
Yeah. And, you know, and some people are just, I have a little studio over on Church Street. And when people come in there, I just feel like we kind of get this little fun time together. And a lot of times people are extremely, I just thought of something. I'm sorry, but I thought of something crazy that happened.
Oh, please.
When I first opened this little studio, it's just right across from the R.J. Young business on Church. And it was it was pretty much, I've been in there a little over 2 years. I had a guy come in, he was doing a headshot. I went over there, I had everything set up because I had done the company's headshots before, so I already knew their backdrop, everything ready. And did his headshot, went good. He was done, and I'm like, we were talking for a little bit, making small talk, and I looked at him, and all of a sudden, he just like, all the color just drained, and I was like, what is going on? And, I'm so small. I'm 5 feet tall, barely. And he was, average, probably almost 6 foot tall guy. He just like fainted right there in this little room. It's about as big as this room is where I do my headshots. It's basically just an office. He just fell out right in the floor, and I'm like, and here I am alone because there was nobody else upstairs in that building at the time. I thought I was going to have to run downstairs and get that business to help me, but then I just, I didn't know what to do. I just started yelling at him, just yelling his name over and over, and he like came back to life and just sat there for a while, and then he went on his way. So that was, I don't know why that just popped in my head when we were talking about headshots, but that was a crazy thing. I almost forgot about that.
Oh, man. Well, I hope you're okay,
I know, I'm like,
headshot fella.
Wow. I'm like, either he was that nervous about getting his picture made or something else was wrong. But.
So I have a question, and it may just be completely wrong, but does social media's impact on our population now, have you seen an increase? Like, in my head, it makes sense that there's an increase in anxiety for what you do, because and you can almost attribute it directly to the proliferation of social media. I know I see that sometimes when I invite guests on here. It's going to go where, how many people would see it? Those kinds of questions, and it's like that's gotten worse over the last several years. Do you see any kind of correlation there?
Yeah, I think I do, because a lot of my clients, especially seniors, unfortunately, and it's and a lot of it, unfortunately, is the girls. that are more concerned, and they'll, because usually when I do a shoot, I'll I'll usually pull a few of my favorites and I'll post them on my Instagram. And sometimes they're like, well, can I see them before you do it? And I'm like, I'm not going to post anything that doesn't look good. Clearly, that's not, why would I do that? But they don't think they look good. And a lot of times I'll take this happens every time, because when
They pick themselves apart.
Yes. But when I do a senior girl, the guys they don't care. They're usually there because their mom really wants them to be there, and they're just following directions. But the girls, sometimes I'll say, oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with this picture, and I'll show them the back of my camera, and they're like, oh, I didn't know. No, let's redo it. My hair, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is like the best picture I've ever done. This is amazing, But I have to think, I'm looking at lighting and skin tone and, things like that. And they're just...
They're picking whatever they think their one flaw or two flaws or whatever.
Yeah, that. And then I notice, like, when I'm doing headshots, the people that are seasoned... They don't, they're not worried about it. They're like, yeah, you'll fix it. That's fine. Or people that, they trust me to fix it. And then the younger people, they just don't, I don't think they have that trust. But they don't, they just don't have the experience with me yet. But like when I do the diplomats pictures for Chamber, they're like, yeah, that looks good. They never ask to see the back of, because they know me and I've been doing it a long time. So, but yeah, I have noticed that too, unfortunately. Because they want to go and do pictures with their phone, and they'll take 1,000 because they can move an inch this way or an inch this way, and nobody's telling them what to do. They want to look at it immediately and see, okay, I'm happy with that or I'm not. So it's sad, and because all these girls that I do senior pictures, they're all gorgeous. I mean, it's amazing. People did not look like this when I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. And, they know so much more about makeup and things like that. And they're all gorgeous. And it hurts my heart. But
what about, have you experienced where while you're doing the photo shoot, they have somebody else there also shooting, like taking cell phone pictures or whatever, or I'm totally making this up. I haven't seen this, but I'm sure it's happened. Like, you're doing the photo shoot, and they've got something set up where they're shooting it on video to TikTok it or whatever. Like, have you had anything like that happen?
I have not had any. No, I have not. Well, maybe they have, but it would be like when we're kind of like moving to a different location or something. I haven't. But when I've had this experience, I've seen like the girl like holding up. Yeah, they have done that. Not somebody else there now that I think of it. But yeah, I have seen, because they've gotten their hair done, probably. Their makeup's perfect. Everything, they've got on probably a new outfit. So yeah, I've turned around, like before, I'll be talking to their mom or their parents, and we're maybe walking from one location to the next, and I'll turn around and they're like doing all this, stuff like that. And I'm like making all these, cute faces, and I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
But
that's funny.
it's, it is what it is. I'm sure if I was, their age now, I'd be doing the same thing. So
yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine being that age anymore. What an old guy thing to say. But
I know my son's 14, but he's at the exact opposite. He could care less.
So, what about some of your community involvement? Let's talk about some of that.
Okay.
So, you're at, seems like everything. You're always busy. Do you ever get to just go and be at an event, or do you always have a camera in your hand?
Well, when I first started doing this, I did a lot of stuff for anybody that would ask me, because I wanted to get exposure and meet people. And I'm really an introvert, but it's kind of brought me out a lot. I had to a couple years ago, I had to say, these are the events that I will cover as a donation, like for a nonprofit. And I had to set boundaries with it, because if not, I mean, everybody will ask you, will you come take pictures here? Will you take pictures? And not, and they don't want to pay.
Do people still try to sell you on, it's going to be great, there's all these people that'll be there, you'll get all kinds of exposure? And
Not really so much, but that happens a lot to people, I know. But
you can build your portfolio here, and you're like,
I mean,
I'm
it's
good.
of people basically standing, smile. It's,
Right.
But and I think VIP also does a good job of covering a lot of
They do.
stuff. So so that helps me. But
Thank
yeah.
you, Eric. We appreciate
yes,
you.
thank you, Eric. But me and Eric run into each other all the time though, because I do. And some things I'm at doing pictures at events. I'm being paid.
Sure.
If I do stuff for I do a lot of stuff for Ascension St. Thomas Hospital, and if I'm at an event for them, they're paying me. And then Eric might be there doing something for VIP. But Liberty Station, I will do their event every year. Anything Kara Kemp wants me to do, I pretty much will do.
She's very persuasive, isn't
Yes,
she?
she is. And then Missy, the Clue event, I will always do Clue. That's a FOMO thing, because it's like, if I happen to not be able to do that, somebody else is going to get to take those pictures, and I will not. That can't happen.
Yeah, they're super fun.
Yeah. But yeah, there are certain events that but I used to would do anything, but once I got to, and I do the chamber diplomats. I don't charge for that. I just have my chamber membership in exchange. So they're headshots. But I can't remember what the question was.
That's okay. You got it.
I covered it.
That nailed it. Yeah. So here's what's really funny. A guy perspective. You've said the term headshots multiple times, and all of my kids are like, when
Fortnite.
they play. Yeah, exactly.
I have a 14-year-old boy, Fortnite, and a husband who plays. So yes, headshot. Yes.
Taking on a totally different meaning, hasn't it?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
That's
yeah.
awesome. So what are you doing now? Like, are you doing Christmas pictures for folks? Do you have some kind of a standing office hour or something like that where people can come in, get their dogs pictured? Or
No. I work with Quinn's Mercantile a lot. And
shout out to Tracy.
Yes.
Love that store.
Best store in town.
It is.
And we do every year. We've been doing this for 5 or 6 years, I guess, but we have like the most amazing Santa and Mrs. Claus that come, and we do that one day, and it is like a marathon of Santa pictures. That's in November. And then I personally do mini shoots for families. Like I have a whole day and I just book people all day. This is your Christmas card picture, and that's in October or November. And then now, I mean, I was telling Trent earlier, I've had a few stragglers, but pretty much that's done. I mean, I'm like, it's not physically possible at this point to get this back and get it done. So the rest of December is pretty light for me, which is good because October and November.
Insane.
Oh,
October's wedding season now, right?
Yeah. And October's is when everybody wants to get married. And so, but yeah, it is, October and November are crazy. And then December is just kind of quiet. And then January, everybody starts wanting new headshots and stuff for their website. And before I did much stuff with businesses, when I was just doing, stuff for families and things like that, January and February were just so dead for me. And I just started getting in the community more and meeting more business people. And I really don't have a slow time of year anymore, which is great.
Sure. What is an area of photography that how do I put this? You really want to do, but it doesn't necessarily pay very much, but it's something that you just love?
When I started doing this, I only took pictures because I was so nervous and I didn't think I had, I guess, that imposter syndrome. And I would this is when I was still working a full-time job, but a graphic designer job. But this is a full-time job, plus, trust me.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you're working a full-time job.
But I love taking pictures of old buildings and architecture. And that I would go treat myself. Probably once or twice a month, I would go to old cemeteries. People are going to start really knowing about me now. Especially in Nashville, there's a couple, Mount Olivet, and there's one right next to it that I would go to and just do really close-ups of the old gravestones and just the sculptures on them. It's art. I mean, because they're old and it was hand sculpted. And then I grew up in East Nashville, so a lot of the architecture there, I love that, but I don't have the time as much anymore. So I kind of try to carve out some time. I started trying to do this last year. just days where I don't do anything but the artistic side, what I like, and instead of people. So, but yeah, that wouldn't pay anything. And I'm not like real estate photography. I don't want to take pictures of insides, but I
Right.
love the outsides.
Right.
That's
right.
why I like Murfreesboro, because they leave it, like their downtown is still kind of rough. Like Franklin is so clean, and I love Franklin, but it's so nice, and Murfreesboro still has some little funky areas.
Yeah, little raw still.
Yeah,
Yeah. So have you been in other places? Like, have you been in Charleston and
Savannah,
Savannah,
New Orleans.
yeah.
New Orleans, I'm just like, I can't even.
there's a
and-
kid in a candy store?
Oh
isn't
my
it?
gosh! And then this past year, I had never been to Cincinnati before, and my
It's a cool
husband
town.
was like, "Oh man," my husband was like, "I'm just gonna pull over," because we're just driving, and I'm like, "Wait, stop," you know. I would love to just go there and walk around and take pictures for a week. I could. It's Cincinnati. I mean, it was.
St. Louis is cool too.
I have not been to St. Louis, so okay, that's gonna be next then. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
love it.
I love it. Any events coming up that you know of that we need to put out there?
Oh goodness. I don't think there's any that I'm going to be a part of. The next big thing I'm going to be doing is, I'm a member of Rutherford Cable, and the Athena nominations are going to be going out, and I do the headshots for that and cover that event. And we're doing that the second week of January, and then that same week,
That's soon.
yeah, it's real soon. It's going to be here before I know it. And then that same week will be the diplomats, the chamber diplomats, that crazy morning where Kelly Beam rings her cowbell all through at the diplomats retreat, and I do about 70 headshots in 45 minutes.
Good
It
gracious.
is it's not. I'm exaggerating, but it's real. When I first started doing that, there were about 35 or 40 diplomats, and now I think there's probably pushing 80. But I have the same amount of time.
Man, oh man. So listen carefully and do exactly what she
I'm
tells
like,
you to do.
Get ready over there.
Yeah.
There's a
No
mirror.
jokes.
Yeah.
No jokes.
Stand on that dot. Yeah.
Yeah. Next.
Yeah,
Next.
next.
That's funny. Trent, you got anything coming up? Any events? No, nothing. Nothing. You got family time coming up?
Yeah, we're heading to West Tennessee for Kristen's family stuff. So that'll be
Outstanding.
fun.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, we're
yep.
gonna spend a couple days in Huntsville.
Nice.
And another cool town, by the way. Some really cool stuff down there.
Really
New
is.
and old. It's a good
yeah.
mixture. So we're gonna spend a couple days down there with Lacey's best friend. We're doing a little Huntsville staycation.
Nice.
So-
That'll be fun.
Pretty pumped about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you get my weekly email, read the one I think it was 3 weeks ago. It was called The Talk. And so this holiday is going to be slightly different than all the previous ones. It was time, and we had to have the talk.
Oh,
You know, not that the talk, the other the talk.
the Santa talk.
And it went well, but I
How
don't know.
old?
Changes the landscape a little bit, you know.
How old?
10 and 12, respectively.
We had to finally cut my son off and say, after Christmas, I think he was 11 or 12. I said, "Hey, let's talk for just a second."
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of this.
Yeah. So we read that email. I think we did it the right way. So it was pretty cool. But I guess that's about it, man. Real estate's still moving. We've actually had a little bump here in the last
nice.
last several weeks, and we've got stuff moving. So that's good. And yeah. So,
Good.
Angel, how does somebody get in touch with you?
Well, I have Instagram and Facebook. If you type in my name, you'll find me. And my phone number is 615-310-2125. I love when people text me, or you can call. And if you go to my website, angelparduephoto.com, there's a way to contact me on there too. It's really easy.
Excellent. So, one of Murfreesboro's finest right here.
Thank you
Always
so
doing a
much.
fantastic job documenting the community.
Yes, I love it here.
You're a historian. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you
guess
think
I
about
am.
that. You're a
Yeah,
historian because
I
you,
am.
100 years from now, people are going to be like, oh, Angel Pardue took all these photos, and this is how we know about Murfreesboro 100 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
Think about that.
They'll look back on my photos like they do the Shacklet
Yes.
photos now that Bill Jakes posts all the time.
That's exactly right.
Yes. Okay. I need to start just taking more pictures around town of
Yes,
just
you
random
do.
buildings.
Yes, you do. Put your name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff. Angel Pardue, thank you for what you do here in our community. We appreciate
Thank you for
very
having
much.
me.
And Trent, thank you for what you do.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Brian, we love you too. I'm just
Brian.
full of love today.
So much love.
Full of love.
That's what we need.
Hey, I had the opportunity over the last couple days to meet Coach Mason twice.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
And I got to tell you, as an MTSU fan, I'm
You
excited.
Nice, man.
I am. He is fiery, and he is ready to be present in our community. And I think he's exactly what
He was at the parade, right?
he was in the parade.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that. Somebody took a picture. I was like, hey, there he is.
Yep. So I'm pumped. Coach Mason, we're glad you're here. Welcome to Murfreesboro, and you got lots of folks that are pulling for you.
Absolutely. We're
That's right.
excited.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Trent.
No problem.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the week.
All right. Bye-bye.